everyone. So today I will be reviewing to you a series in a Shakespeare story. So it's the Shakespeare series, and today I will be reviewing to you each of the books separately in more detail. So first book is called As You Like It. So this book is about a girl named Rosalind, and she loved a man, but she lived with her uncle, and her uncle didn't like the man she loved because it was his enemy's son, so he didn't like him. So now he punished Rosalind to quit the dukedom. Her cousin, Rosalind, has her cousin, and she didn't want to stay with her weird father, so she wanted to come with Rosalind. So Rosalind and her cousin disguised as men and went and saw two men that they liked. They looked really handsome, and so they started to know each other. And then when they really knew each other, they said, "Do you want to marry?" And so they married. So that's the end of this book. And my opinion about this book, it's really good how they were disguised as men, because then they wouldn't be noticed. But the part that I didn't like was that they didn't know each other too well. They have to start dating about months or something, so that they have to really know each other, because you don't know if they're trustworthy or not. So that's my opinion. And now moving on, the next book is called Antony and Cleopatra. So did you know that Antony is one of the 3 rulers in Rome, but Cleopatra is the queen of Egypt? So in ancient Egypt and Rome, so they started a war between the Romans and the Egyptians. So many people died, but then this one weird thing happened. Cleopatra and Antony liked each other. That's weird, because they're doing a war between each one, but they like each other. So that's kind of weird. So now that Antony was jealous or angry of something and wanted his friend to kill him, because end the life of him, but I don't know why, because he just got angry at something, and now his friend didn't want to do that. So Antony said he will do it himself. So he killed himself and came to Cleopatra, the queen of Egypt. And she didn't want Antony to die and wanted to live with him. So she got out a snake and made the snake bite her so that she could die with Antony. So because that, now they both died because they loved each other so much. So now for my opinion. So the part that I like was that Cleopatra wanted to live with Antony, so she got the snake out and made the snake bite her so she can live with her loved one. But the part I didn't like was that Antony wanted his friend to kill him, but then his friend didn't want to, so that he killed himself, because you want to live long so you can explore the things more in life, but he just ended his life by killing himself. So that's my opinion for this book, and I think this book is really good. I really think you should read this because it's really good. Okay, on to the next one. It's called Macbeth. So this story is about a guy who was very, very brave. He came into the forest and saw 3 witches. The witches said, "All hail Macbeth will be king," but he didn't know what they mean. So when he got back to his kingdom, he saw the king, and then he really wanted to be king as well, but then he didn't know if he had a chance or not. Then I'm pretty sure the witches cursed on his wife to be evil and tell Macbeth evil things. So first thing she said to Macbeth was, "Kill the king, then you will be king." Then Macbeth didn't want to do that, but then the more his wife said, the more he wanted to do it. So after he did it, he went and picked up 2 daggers and went to the king's room. He killed the king, and after his wife said, "Very good," but he didn't think like that, because killing is not a good thing. So then after, Macbeth was crowned king. But he didn't think that it was good as he imagined, because killing to become king is not a good thing. You have to wait until you can. Then you can, that's good. But then he didn't want to, so he didn't think that it was good. So he said to somebody, "Make the end of me." That means kill him. So then a guy called Macduff, he killed Macbeth. So now that's the end of Macbeth. So the part I did like was when the witches said, "All hail Macbeth, who shall be king," because then Macbeth was confused. But I liked that part. But the part I didn't like was when Macbeth was killed and Macbeth killed the king, because killing is not a good thing. Murdering is not a good thing, unless you do it for a good deed. Then, but killing is still not a good thing. So I didn't like that part. So that's the end of my review for the book named Macbeth. So now on to the next book. Is also about fairies, but some wizards as well. So now there was one wizard that looked like any other man with a white beard, had a child named, well, she's a woman, and she is named Miranda. She was very, very pretty with dark hair. So now there was a ship that came by, and on the ship was a prince. He was named, the prince was really handsome. He was named Ferdinand. So he is a prince. So now he got shipwrecked on an island that Miranda and the wizard was on. So the prince woke up and saw Miranda, and then suddenly they just looked at each other and both liked each other. So now he thought, the prince, he thought that he was the only survivor, but he didn't know that there were 2 more sailors that was here as well, but just on a different thing, like a different place. So now they both met each other, the sailors, and they said, "Oh no, we're stuck on this, we have no food, but now we have to wait for our death." But then they saw a table of food, so they were so happy. Then there was this thing who said there was this thing who said they were very guilty about something. So now they don't know how that thing knew about their guiltiness. So they thought that the thing was going to kill them, but instead it just like they were in a dream. So in a dream they met all the sailors, including the prince with Miranda. So now that they all met each other, so now when they woke up, I'm pretty sure they were all saying it was a dream, because this whole time, I don't know if wizards are real, because then it's probably all of them or one of them a dream, because they dreamt also with an ugly green animal thing. It's really disgusting, and then I think they just dreamt about it. So now my opinion about this book. So the part that I like was when Prince the prince met Miranda. And yeah, I like that part because then like first love at first sight, and then they loved each other. So now the part that I didn't like was when they got shipwrecked. Because shipwrecked, you don't have any food. The ship is wrecked, so now you don't have any food to survive. So it's not good. So yeah, that's my review about this book called The Tempest. Now on to the next book. So this book is called A Midsummer Night's Dream. So this book is about two girls who were best friends. One was in love with a man and the other was also in love with a man. The first one in love with a man named Lysander, and the second one named Helena, it fell in love with a man called Demetrius. I'm pretty sure that's how you say it. So now this fairy, this king fairy, he was like cast a spell on one of the girls named Helena. So he cast it so that the first I'm sorry, it's not Helena, it's two guys that the best friends love, Lysander and Demetrius. So now he made a spell that the first one they saw they would fall in love with them straight away. So he thought it would come to plan, but it didn't. Demetrius and Lysander both looked at Helena, so that means they both wanted to love Helena, but then Helena only wanted Demetrius, and Hermia, the Helena's best friend, didn't thought that she stole Lysander from her. So now she broke up with her best friend, but then the spell was broken. So now Lysander and Hermia are now both couples again, and Demetrius and Helena, now they loved each other now, so it's the different thing as before. So now here's my opinion about the story. So I like the part where Hermia and Helena both like some men, because then in the future they could both marry at the same time. But the part I didn't like was that Demetrius and Lysander both like Helena, and then Hermia broke up with her best friend. So I didn't like that part. So yeah, that's the end of the review in this book. So now the next book is called The Tempest. This is one of the stories I really like. It's called Romeo and Juliet. I'm pretty sure you have heard it before because it's very famous. So now I'm going to do a quick review about it. So this review is about two people. One of them is named Juliet and another man is called Romeo. But they couldn't love each other, but they wanted to because they were both in different kingdoms and they were enemies, but they loved each other. So they hid away and went each other so that no one knew them. But then one day there was a plan. Julia would pretend to be sick and then would pretend to die, but she actually drank a potion so that she'll fall in a deep sleep like she was dead. So, and then they will bury her, but then a few days later she will just be good as new and she'll run out so that everyone thinks she was dead. But then Romeo thought that she was actually dead, so he wanted to be dead with her. So he drank some poison and was dead. But then a few moments later, Juliet woke up again, and then she saw Romeo was dead. So she wanted to be dead too. So then he kissed him so that poison could get on her lips and she would die as well, but wasn't enough poison. So she got the dagger from Romeo and killed herself. Now, they were both buried together, but they would still love each other. So I like this story. I really like it because, they both love each other and try to be with each other even though they are enemies. But the part I didn't like was when they were killed. Because I don't like death, I don't like it at all. That's the end of my book review, and that's all right now because I think we don't have enough time to do all of them. But in the future, maybe I can do all 16. So yeah, I hope you like it, and I hope you buy it to read all of it as well because it's very fascinating. But it's not very long. It's only like a couple of pages. It's really good. So I think you should read them. It's adult stories, but then they turn it into kid stories, but it's the same thing basically. So I really like these series. Hope you enjoy them.